like to call upon stage Ms. Sandy Carter, General Manager, IBM. Put your hands together for Sandy Carter.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon? Okay, great. You guys are all awake and lots of great folks here. My name is Sandy Carter, and I'm the General Manager at IBM in charge of entrepreneur programs as well as our developer ecosystem. So needless to say, I've got the best job at IBM because I get to work with entrepreneurs all day and all night. And one of the big things that I've learned from entrepreneurship is that all is not rosy, as our last speaker said. If you go with me to the next page, you're going to see a couple things. First, I wanted to start out, my daughter is an artist, and in honor of me coming to India this time, she drew a picture for you guys to say, welcome to India. So let's go to the next page. I thought this was really interesting. This is based on some latest research of the top reasons why startups fail. And I found it fascinating that 4 of the reasons account for 80% of the failures. Number 1 is that your product doesn't actually meet a market need. You need to test it. You need to find out if it's good. Number 2 is hiring. Do you hire the right people, the right number of people, the right skills? Number 3, what you're looking at is, are you focused or do you get distracted by what's going on in the marketplace? So you started with one thing and you expand too quickly. And number 4 is you don't focus enough on sales and marketing. You tend to focus more on technology. So as we looked at this research, I work with about 7,000 startups across 78 different countries. And I wanted to say, if we wanted to work on some of these items, what would they be, and what advice would we give to startups around the world? So if you can go with me to the next slide, there are 5 things that we believe help with those areas of failure that we're going to talk about today. Item number 1 is around A/B testing. How do you make sure that product is right for the market? That number 1 reason for failure. Number 2, can you offer something away for free as part of that sales and marketing go-to-market? Number 3 is referrals. How do you do referrals to drive your business and to really make sure you stay focused on the right elements? Number 4, how do you share the love? We'll talk a little bit about that. So a lot of it's about social. In fact, I'm standing on stage today because someone reached out to me in a social network and said, would you come speak? I hear you're coming to India, and here I stand on the stage today. And then finally, community hacking. How do you leverage the strength of a community to grow your business? So we're going to go through all 5 of those growth hacks. I'm a growth hacking expert. And these hacks work for small businesses, medium businesses, and even large businesses. I'll show you where we as IBM have actually leveraged some of these ourselves to reach out to more and more consumers and clients too. So let's go to the first one, which is A/B testing. Now, I don't know how many of you guys do this today on your products, but with all of the social media that's out there today, with everything that's happening on the digital space and digital engagement, one of the big things and big lessons learned from the 7,000 entrepreneurs that we work with that are very successful is they do a lot of A/B testing, meaning that they constantly are going out to their customers and say, do you like this or do you like this? Do you like this or do you like this? Why do you like what you like? So that they're constantly doing the test, and they're using data and analytics behind it. So it's not just gut feel, and it's not just anecdotes. It's actual real data to test and see what's working in the marketplace. 2 rules for this that are really important. Sometimes it's very easy, even as an entrepreneur, to get really attached to your product. But you need to make sure that your culture continues to be one of experimentation and change, and that you're built on 2 fundamental principles. The first one is data integrity. Whenever you can, use and leverage data to test out whether what you're doing with your product is working. Don't just go on your gut feel. So either collect data and use analytics on that data so you know who likes it, why do they like it, what is it that they like. Secondly, you don't have to do something huge. I was just mentoring with a startup in San Francisco. So I live in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. And they were like, wow, we really want to blow it away. We want to do something big. We just don't have enough money. But in the end, we sat down and talked through several small things that really got their company and their product 1 million registrations in less than a year. Not by doing one big thing, but by doing a series of small things that were measurable so that we could figure out what was really working in that space. So let me show you. I have a confession to make. I've been trying these out as well because I don't want this to be just to be theory. I want to make sure that these work. So I run, out of my entrepreneur group, we run a product called Bluemix. And I run a site at IBM called DeveloperWorks. It's a digital site. We get about 5 million developers every month come to this site to seek out knowledge and to look at technology. So we decided to do this A/B testing, looking only at things we could measure, testing out different ways that we could get more and more developers on top of our platform. And so you can see we made small changes to our product, small changes to our offering, but those small changes in only 9 weeks led to 7 times the number of registrations, even as big as IBM is. Just by doing that A/B testing, we learned what worked, not based on someone's like. In fact, half the time I would go, ooh, I like that one, but the numbers would come back with the other one. So always looking at the data, looking at the numbers, and doing as much as you can digitally makes a huge difference. Now, this is a new technology that's coming out there today that can help you do this A/B testing that I think is really powerful. This is one of our partners. This is Invisio. And not only can we measure with analytics tools now data that comes in from social or from your website or your hits, but we can also measure, if you're a consumer product, facial expressions of what people like. Because sometimes people will say, ooh, I really like that. But based on their body language and their face, they really don't. And so this enables you now to not just do A/B testing based on digital data, but also to do it based on facial and sentiment that comes in from body language as well. Because we all know that a lot is dictated by how you move and what you do, how your face expresses itself, not just based on what happens digitally. So this is our first growth hack, is to constantly do A/B testing. How many of you guys do A/B testing today? Just a few. So this is something you might want to add to your repertoire. Okay, so number 2, offering something for free to grow your business. Anybody do this today? Okay, so a lot more do this today. Okay, so let's talk about this. Why would you want to offer something for free to get your business going? It seems kind of counterintuitive. But there are lots of reasons why you might want to offer something for free. And we're not just talking about something like a t-shirt, although t-shirts do work, I will tell you. We're really talking about something that is sticky, something that's going to cause the customer to come back to you, something that matters to them, something of value. And maybe that means you give away part of your solution or part of what you're doing, so that they'll see value, but they'll want more. So it has to be something that matters in the marketplace. So this is one example, again, of something that we've done. We at IBM for startups, my team runs a program called the Global Entrepreneur Program. And we said, well, if we applied this principle to grow our business, what would we do? And so we talked to lots of entrepreneurs, used that A/B testing, and we found that some of the things that entrepreneurs wanted was free access to the cloud. So we provided $120,000 US of free access, including Cognitive and Watson, but also other things that were really important: mentoring, the ability to interface and to be connected to an enterprise client in something we call David and Goliath dinners, where we bring entrepreneurs in and we introduce them to large enterprises so they could get their first client or their second big client. And then technical expertise. So we're giving away something, and right now, based on this package, we've got the highest retention of entrepreneurs, even after the year of free service is there, because we're constantly going back and ensuring we're giving something away of value, something that's sticky, something that today is partial, and something that brings our customers, our entrepreneurs, back to our IBM platform. Now, we're not the only ones that are doing this. If you can take me to the next slide, thank you. A company here in India called KickSim. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. I've worked with them both here in India as well as in the US. They have an office in Silicon Valley, San Francisco. And what their product does is it enables some ability to do roaming. And so part of the way they started getting their very large install base is they gave away data roaming, so it was for free for customers traveling internationally. So I told you I've been to 78 different countries. Giving away free access so I could call home or call the office for free was very valuable. Has generated a lot of loyalty and enabled them to really grow and retain their business as they're moving forward. So that's our number 2, is figuring out in your growth hacks what you want to give away for free, if anything, and figuring out what that is really important so that it's sticky and that it matters and that it adds value to what you're doing. Our third growth hack is around referrals, a referral program. How many of you guys have some sort of referral program or brand advocacy program? Okay, so just a few. So I think this is another very valuable program because what it does is it enables others to talk about you, not for you to talk about yourself. Increases your credibility and your authenticity. And it also enables others to feel part of your success so that they're actually growing their business too. So I remember one story where we were recently creating a new product. And we had a very small development team, about 15 people who were developing this product. And we decided we're going to crowdsource some of the features. We're going to have referrals. We're going to have people participate in it. And so we did that. We released the product. And we have a very large show. About 25,000 people come to it. And the product was doing really well. So we decided we were going to have the development team, all 15 of them, stand up and get a round of applause at this show. So when we announced, would the development team for this product stand up, all of a sudden we had over 1,000 people in the audience stand up. Why do you think that was? Because all that crowdsourcing we had done, all those additional people who had given us ideas and who had referred the product felt like they were part of the team, which was my big aha moment that said, doing this referral is so powerful. Not only do people feel like they're going to talk about your product, but they also feel like they're part of your team, and therefore they have a vested interest. So as you're looking at a referral program, there's a couple of things that you really want to try to strive for. One is that you get other customers to share or to recommend your product. You want to get them so excited or to being part of the requirements process with you that they have to tell others about it, that they feel like it's partly theirs. You want to be able to track it. So you'll notice a theme here throughout. Analytics and data, so that you know what's happening. It's not just a gut feel. There are quick and easy tools out there, a lot of them for free, that you can do analysis on and tracking. And then make sure that you're giving some sort of meaningful reward. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It could be a t-shirt. But I'll also tell you sometimes a badge that they can post in Facebook could really make a difference as well for giving you that referral. So it doesn't have to be something expensive, but it does have to be something that adds value. So I'll give you a couple of examples. And I told you on each one of these, I tested it myself, so we played around with it. So talent is a really important area. In fact, we talked about the second biggest reason that startups fail is hiring the wrong people or not able to hire the right talent. Well, in IBM right now, we're hiring cognitive or AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning folks. And we decided, how could we attract the best talent to IBM? How could we make sure that we get the best coming in? So we decided we're going to try this referral idea. So not just for our product, but to get people in the door. And so we decided that for employees currently in the business, that if they recommended someone, they referred them to us, that we would actually use that to reward the employees. And you can see different leaderboards here, top referrals. We would reward people for referring potential new employees. And this has worked tremendously. Most of our new employees coming in are coming in from this program. And in fact, one of the ways that we hire a lot of our tech talent now is through hackathons. And hackathons were also suggested through this referral program where we gave something to the employees. So when you think about referrals, you might have a small team, but you can still do something to incent them to also refer what you're doing as you move forward. Now, I thought this was a really interesting one. I don't know if anybody has used this or not, but this is called a Pavlok. Now, it's really interesting because what it is, it's a startup, and they have a bracelet, and if you have a bad habit, the bracelet shocks you if you do it. So, for instance, let's say that you smoke. The bracelet will sense when you're starting to smoke, and it will shock you. Sounds kind of crazy, right? But it's going like wildfire in Europe and in the US. So this bracelet, what they've done is they now have a referral program. So if you are, let's say that you're going to start a diet or you're going to stop smoking. If you refer your friends to help shock you, then you actually get a discount on your bracelet. And so this thing has gone viral again, across Europe and the United States because they've started this referral program. And the benefit, the reward, is that you get to shock your friend. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It can be something silly. Try it on. They actually, it was actually featured most recently on the Oprah show, where because it had gone viral, they had actually had a couple testimonials as well of people who said it actually works, that if you get shocked and reminded not to do something for 5 days in a row, you can actually break your habit. So something to think about. Okay, so that was our number 3, was to think about a referral program. Doesn't have to be a lot of money, can be very simple, can be a shock, can be a pat on the back, could be a scoreboard or gamification, but something that rewards for someone sharing, talking about your product, helping you to get people, helping you get funding. I had one startup that did it. If you referred them to VCs and angels and accelerators, help them to get funding, you can do it for really anything, and it really does work. Okay, so our next one, oops, can you go back one page for me, is about sharing the love. So a lot of this is going to be around social good, but also using social media. So now take me forward. Now I think this is really interesting, and we've done this study across the board. So we asked, in this particular case, fans, would you rather have an autograph of, let's say, Messi, or would you rather have a retweet? What would you say? What would you guys say? Retweet. I would have said the autograph because I could sell that puppy on eBay, get me some funding. But most people, 61% of people today said, I would rather have a retweet from my favorite player than a signed autograph, which I think is really interesting, something to think about in terms of how you feel like you're rewarding people, how you're sharing the love. Sometimes a simple retweet is as valuable as something that could be sold on eBay or a marketplace as you move forward. So let's talk about what does sharing the love mean here. There are a couple of areas. So first is, sharing the love means that you build brand trust, that you are visible. It could be that you're doing something for good and giving back into the community. And you, in that way, build with the community another community that shares the same desires that you have. So let's take a look at what this is. If you can go to the next slide for me, please. So this is ClickDoc. Are you guys familiar with ClickDoc? Startup here in India. I love this story because they're dedicated to providing doctor services to people in India 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And one of the things that they've done is they've not only offered some free services, but they're also giving back to the community as people sponsor and leverage and use their application. So while they're in the game for money, their bigger goal, their bigger cause is sharing that love and giving back into the community system how they want to develop their application. So if we go to the next example, anybody in here play Minecraft? Gamification. Okay, great. I thought there'd be more gamers. I actually started the first gaming group at IBM. So we decided, how could we get in there and really teach and showcase some of the technology that we have? And you know, Minecraft has some open APIs. And so we actually, with a group of disadvantaged teens, we went in and created a medical Minecraft with disadvantaged teens in certain cities in the US. This went viral. People wrote about IBM giving back to the community, helping these disadvantaged teens to also give back and to create a fun way using Watson and cognitive to help solve some of the challenges and issues that they were going through. Created a real buzz storm around what we were doing, much like what ClickDoc has done. So I would tell you, you need to be authentic in what you do, but right now in the marketplace, giving back, doing things for a greater good is extremely powerful in the marketplace. So this is another one that we did around giving back, which is called the Great Mind Challenge, where a lot of universities come together. We do a huge contest to get students to develop really cool and super apps. Again, giving back to the community to spur on innovation, to motivate and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. And again, you know, you give back to give back for the right reasons, but again, it spurs a great community that surrounds you and follows you, because you're not just about the profit, you're about something bigger and something greater than what you're just selling. So that was number 4, is looking at how you share the love, using social media, leveraging a socially good project to grow your business and to create some buzz around what you're doing, but also to help change the world as you go forward. Our 5th and final growth hack is around hacking for the ecosystem. And if you look today at most products, the ecosystem that you build around the product is as important, in some cases, you know, more important than the next product, feature, or function that you're trying to establish. So having that ecosystem around you, partners, clients, influencers, to help you build up your portfolio is a really important ingredient in growth hacking today. So as you're looking at your ecosystem, one of the things I encourage entrepreneurs to do is to create an ecosystem wheel. Who is an important influencer in what you're doing? If it's healthcare, it may be parts of the government. It may be alliances. It may be developers, depending upon what your platform is. So figure out which communities, which alliances, which parts of the government do you need to bring together to really be successful. A lot of entrepreneur companies are changing and disrupting things, and so they really do need to bring about disruption and change. So think about Uber and what they are changing in almost every city in the world. They really did that very carefully by figuring out the ecosystem that they needed to be successful, because they knew they were going to disenfranchise the taxi companies, for instance, in some cases the city governments. So if you watch their moves into new cities, especially at the beginning, they were very careful at building and developing that ecosystem. So let's talk about how you might do that. This is an example of Citibank. So Citibank wanted to build an ecosystem, and part of their new strategy is to build that with you guys, with entrepreneurs. So here in India, they did a hackathon called a Mobile Challenge to build up a set of entrepreneurs who would leverage and use their APIs would leverage and use their data to build apps for the fintech space to help them get ahead of their competitors. Barclays did the same. So you're going to see lots of big enterprise leveraging you guys, the entrepreneurs, to build up their ecosystem. So I would think in reverse, how could I use some of these big enterprises to build up my ecosystem as well? So this is our example again. This is DeveloperWorks Premium. And one of the things that we did as we offered something to the developer communities that we focus in on, is we went out there and said, what are the communities that matter? What's our ecosystem wheel that matter to the developers? Well, of course, GitHub is really important. So we went to see if we could partner with GitHub, and we did. We said O'Reilly and training, Coursera, really important for developers to increase their skills. And so we brought them into our ecosystem. So as you're looking at how you're going to build and broaden that ecosystem, again, being very focused, not broad brushed, but very focused on the right ecosystem partners that matter to you makes a difference. Because if I was in a banking space, I wouldn't have gone after GitHub. I went after GitHub because I was going after the developer ecosystem. So very targeted, very focused, and very purposeful as we went forward. These are some other examples from here in India. Our cloud team, which is Bluemix, went after a set of influencers, and they did things with those influencers based on what they were interested in, like running marathons. They did Bluemix runs, monsoon marathons. They did incredibly creative things to get to the right influencers here in India to make a big impact on the market here that I think is growing and will have an impact around the world. Now, we've gone through 5 growth hacks, and that came from a lot of research on these 7,000 very successful startups. The great thing is you guys can take any of those and go and execute them for very little amounts of resource and money and be very successful. But don't wait too long, because what you've seen here, yes, today's growth hack is tomorrow's span. So just make sure that you're constantly learning and changing as you move forward. So with that, I'll be open for 2 or 3 questions. 2 questions. 2 questions, please. Thank you very much. Any questions that I could answer for anyone?
Do we have any questions? Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Ma'am, you have told about this things which are technology based. We are doing offline or online startups, or we are entrepreneurs for online businesses. What marketing strategies to be used when we are offline? Yes. When
you're offline? Well, you can use most of these when you're offline. So for instance, if you're doing a referral program, you can do that in a store, in a retail shop with a card. If you're doing offline on the overall for good, you can also leverage and do that offline as well.
Okay.
So you can do any of the ones we talked about, either digitally or offline.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
Just pass on the mic behind. Just pass on the mic behind.
Ma'am, your suggestions to an entrepreneur who is going to start up.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Your suggestions to an entrepreneur who is going to start up.
Yes.
Your suggestions.
Are they suggestions for an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a question, ma'am.
Oh, what's the question? Are these for?
Any suggestions from you to the entrepreneurs who are going to start up?
Oh.
What do you want to give suggestions for a would-be entrepreneur?
For these?
Any entrepreneur.
Oh.
What piece of advice you want to give?
Okay.
That's an open question.
Okay. I think they would be the same ones we just went through. All of these suggestions would be for a startup, or are you differentiating from the person versus the company? I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Anything else? Yes, sir. Yes.
Come up here. Could hear you one second. Just press that.
I couldn't hear you. Say it one more time.
What are the other ways? Suppose I design some app, a mobile app or a website. Okay, now I want to get customers. I want more and more people to visit it. What are the other ways other than WhatsApp, Facebook, any other ways, which is less costly, of course, not like television ads or something.
You mean different than these 5?
Yeah.
To get your app accepted?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the other ones that came up in our study was around how you get, how you can use some sort of VIP program, make it very elite to get it. So you can give it out to a set of influencers and say the only other people who can use the app are people you invite, and do it that way. We've had some success in that in the Valley as well. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm sorry?
Would like to felicitate you with a small token of memento
Oh,
from
okay,
IIT
thank
Bombay.
you.
Can you just come here?
Oh, sure. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you
That's
so much.
beautiful. Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.